LG Anaheim 2014.
MLG Anaheim. Who won that event?
Complexity.
Oh, of
What
course
game
they
was
did.
that?
It's
Ghost?
Ghost.
Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Ghost was the first game I watched.
Really?
I think.
Actually, that might
At
have been
least-
Impact. I think it was Impact won that.
MLG Anaheim 2014 in Ghost. Impact didn't play in Ghost.
No, this is Black Ops 2. MLG
Oh.
Anaheim 2013. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's the one where everybody stood up and they're like, "Oh my god, they took down the champions." Yeah, Cole. That was Cole's first win.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, are we starting?
Oh, maybe that wasn't my first one.
Okay, I might have started it like 2 minutes ago.
It's fine. You cut around it. Fix it in post.
No.
Complexity.
I'm doing this on purpose, so it's like natural. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Doing it live.
Doing
Good
it.
morning,
live.
good afternoon, good
it
evening,
was
wherever you are.
It was Complexity. They did beat Impact in the finals.
God, what a great event.
That was a crazy one. Merc had that crazy 3-piece in Surge.
Yes.
goodness.
Yes. Oh my
Fourth
god.
place was Curse. Let me tell you their lineup. It was Complex, Twiz, Blind Fire, and Liar.
That was when there
We
was
might as well.
there was 2 complexes at that event, right? It was like
I don't even know.
one was named with like the C with the
This was
O.
CMPOX. Yeah.
Yes.
Complex.
God, what a good event.
And this is like what would become TK under VVV with Realize instead of Neslo.
Was TK a thing in Black Ops 2?
Oh,
I don't
no,
think so.
they didn't become TK until later, but it was Sharp Theory, Goonjar, and then Realize was VVV. I think like his dad owned it or something. There's something weird about him and VVV, his relationship with VVV.
Oh, he's general basically.
Oh my god.
With the
E6.
E6.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
the E6 team was decent though. So
But then they went to TK with Neslo instead of Realize, and then they placed top 2 like 5 times and never won an event.
And then they got Looney, right? Looney on TK?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, anyways, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to the first episode of Garbage Time. I'm your host, Sun. Please go ahead and thank our hosts. Absolutely nobody. Please sponsor us. Let's get into it. Let's do it.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's, if you're listening, bring back the chicken parm. Thanks.
Oh, absolutely.
Mike.
Wendy's,
Sponsor
never
us.
get rid of the spicy nugs.
Yeah, that
Oh my God.
shouldn't. that
Wendy's,
shouldn't be a
Biggie,
controversial
the
opinion.
$5 bag. That's some good shit.
Oh yeah, that $5 Biggie bag. What value?
Oh my god. How much was it? Like $3?
It's $5. It's a $5 bag. What are
$5
you
bag.
talking
What does
about?
it
How
cost,
much is
$3?
it?
Come on, man.
Dude, I don't even go to Wendy's anymore. I go to Chick-fil-A, which is like a further drive for me, but I die for those waffle fries. They are fantastic.
Yo,
No,
put some respect on the 4 for 4.
yeah, the waffle fries are garbage. I'm sorry. They're
Okay,
overrated.
no.
They're overrated, and
Oh.
like half the time you get one of those little end pieces that's like the end of the potato.
Those
and
are
you're
the
like,
best
"Oh,
parts.
That's the best part. Bro, name a
guys are
fry,
insane.
you can put more Chick-fil-A sauce on than a waffle fry. You can't do it.
That's because one waffle fry is essentially 5 other fries, and you're
That's,
just
Exactly.
shoving 5
that's the
fries in your
point,
mouth at the same
bro.
time.
I would love to put 5
Bro,
fries in my mouth
I'm
at the
just
same time.
expediting the fattening process,
Yeah,
making it quick.
Dude,
Nah.
calories
You
per
know what?
second.
If you got a Shake Shack by you, their nuggets are better than Chick-fil-A's. Not even gonna lie.
Chick-fil-A's nuggets are okay. The sandwiches
Even-
are where they shine. It's better than Popeyes.
Oh, the spicy chicken. It's
I
Oh,
ridiculous.
the
don't know if
spicy
it's
deluxe,
better
man. Oof.
Depends.
Hey, anyway,
The
I
spicy
feel
deluxe.
like we have veered off topic here, boys.
Okay, Rex, say your name. Just fucking say your name. That's it. That's all you do.
I'm Rekite or Will. I've been watching Call of Duty since Black Ops 2, MLG Anaheim 13, which is when Complexity first took over from Impact after Impact
That
was
is
on there.
oddly specific.
Oh yeah, the day that Impact died. That's when you started
Yeah.
watching. Excellent.
Yeah, it was. I killed Impact.
Dude, you're part of the dynasty. All right, Sonny, what's your name?
My name is Sun. I don't watch COD. I'm
Oh,
just in the Discord server. So
Oh.
that's why I'm here.
fucking nailed it.
The end on top.
I'm mind blown.
Gage, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Gage. You might know me as the founder of DN Gaming. Started watching in COD Ghosts.
Nailed it. And my name is Zemos. I've been watching since Ghost Champs. I guess that's new. I think that's the newest one here.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a big break when I didn't really watch many of the Jetpack CODs. A little bit of AW, and then after that, I didn't really watch for a while until Black Ops 4.
Well, nobody watched the Black Ops 3 because there were only 5 events that year. That stank.
True.
Yeah, actually, I'm in a similar boat to Gage. I stopped watching for a while and then picked back up Black Ops 4.
Yeah. That
Black
sounds
Ops 4
about
was
right.
just that good of a competitive game, I guess.
Infinite Warfare Hardpoint, man. That was the game.
Oh yeah, with the
I didn't even play
KVM
that game.
I didn't watch
KVM.
that game.
or
The K bar, man.
oh my
K-Bar,
god, K
Come on
bar.
now.
And the NV4.
You're just
Yes.
mixing up gun names.
Yeah,
Put
I'm
them all
mixing
together.
up the two guns because Infinite Warfare was that much of a blur for me.
Even I know, and I didn't play the game.
God. What a terrible game.
Yeah, so do we want to
Yeah.
just hop right into our recap of this week's Call of Duty League events?
Yes,
Our-
absolutely. So today is Tuesday, but we're going to be going 5 days back to Thursday, and we're going to be taking a look at those matches. So there were 2 quick 3-0s. Dallas 3-0'd Florida, and Chicago 3-0'd Seattle. My God. So the 3-0 for Dallas, there were 3 checkmates, and you know how I feel about checkmate. I actually, my girlfriend came over and watched the match. She was like, "Are they on the same map?" And I'm like, "No, they're on the different fucking game." She knows like a little bit about Call of Duty, but not that much.
Well, technically, I mean, it is the same map, just different game modes. Maybe that's what she meant.
Yeah. Because she
But,
came over like 40 minutes later, and she's like, "Are they still in the same game?" Oh my god, I can't fucking
But-
stand checkmate.
But yeah, I think the reason why they go with checkmate is, well, I don't know why. It was against Florida, right? If I'm remembering right.
Yeah, Florida banned the 2 raids. They banned raid search and then raid control, which I guess makes sense if
Yeah.
you're Florida, because you want to.
Maybe you want to ban raid because, especially search, checkmate keeps it mixy for worse search teams. Although I don't think Florida's terrible at search, but maybe they thought Dallas was just better. But Dallas probably got in the maps that they wanted because basically checkmate, all you got to do is be better gunny and you're
Yeah.
probably going to win the map most of the time. And Dallas is definitely better talent wise than Florida, I would say.
Yeah, Dallas kind of
overall-
plays the same
overall.
way that they played last year, where it's just trade, and pray you come up on top, and that kind of worked in 5v5 and 4v4. It's a little bit weirder, especially in searches, and I think that's probably why Dallas has been struggling. So if you look
Yeah.
at their KDs, it's all like 1. It's almost all like 1.03 and then 1.01.
Yeah. He
The
kinda
one
fell down.
person, the one person who's been struggling in search for Dallas has been Illy. He's got like a 0.9 or 0.79 in stage 2, and he came back. He was 11-6 on that checkmate search, and he had three first bloods in 10 rounds. So he had a really good game. He picked it up, and I kind of questioned Florida's decision making there, taking Dallas to checkmate, which is such a defense heavy map, because Dallas is. Search is by far their worst game mode, and so I would think that you would want to take them to something like Moscow or Miami, where you can kind of show your prowess where they can't on the offensive side, and instead of checkmate, where you're kind of giving them built-in rounds on defenses, that because it's such an easy map to defend on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that Miami is hard to play without smokes, and well, especially smokes and snipers, but mostly.
Yeah,
smokes.
but those guys aren't coming back. There's no chance in
I
hell
mean-
that we're getting snipers back and smokes back in search
I
this
could
year.
see. I don't know. It's just that I think that's one of the main reasons why defense is so favored, because you don't have to chell anything. You just wait for. With how these maps are set up, you just wait. like Moscow's really the only map where offense like has a actual chance to get map control before defense does. Like that actual map control that affects the bomb sites.
Yeah.
I would say a similar thing about Raid, though. I mean, we've seen teams really leaning on heavy, quick attack rounds on Raid just to pick up that circle side of the map and try to get into Laundry and get Laundry control, just get full beast
Yeah.
control, get the quick plants. And also on Express, the A bomb site, which is, those quick plants on A have the highest success rate on offense, which is really why I think those are my favorite maps to watch in Surge, just because you can attack both bomb sites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many things to do on offense on both Raid and Express. Like, think about the searches, the actual Black Ops Cold War searches. Like, the only one that you really can do a lot on is Moscow. I mean, you can go. Okay, so you're on office. You can go to Eski's side and kind of look. You can jump over the little like platform like next to the stairs and see and keep peeking. You can go onto street side near Globe. You can look out the window to mid. You can do a lot of things on Moscow, but Checkmate you can't really do anything. Miami, if you give up garage control on defense, you're kind of screwed. The searches in this game are just not the same as they were.
I
Yeah.
think we're getting ready to see some massive improvement in the Dallas Search and Destroy game mode, though. Once the whole team's seen Tropic Thunder, I think there's going to be just huge improvements all around. They've been missing out on their flow, not having all seen that classic movie.
Are you serious? Are they tweeting that they're group watching Tropic Thunder right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking idiots.
Okay, and then second match Thursday was Optic and Surge. You have Optic coming off a terrible week 2 where they got 0-6'd. They went up against that new Minnesota roster on 3 straight raids, got completely destroyed. Dashy drops a 0.6. And of course, Dashy, the big proponent of the QBZ, saying that it's going to expose some weaker ARs. And then, he just has a terrible start with it. Back and against Surge, actually, and also in their later match this week, he played with the Krig every map that they had. And even map 2 Checkmate against Surge in the search, he ran the Krig, and Formal is the one with the QBZ out, Formal, their usual main AR. So I think we've seen a little bit of a role change there, and it seems to have helped.
Yeah, I think hasn't
Go ahead.
Clayster ran the QBZ before in certain maps?
Diamond Con
for New
usually
York?
runs the second, like the faster AR role. So usually he's the one with the QBZ. But
I don't, unless the QBZ is just somehow better on the pro servers, I don't know how that gun's getting used over.
It's
Krigs.
actually, the Krig is apparently amazing on 60 hertz, which I mean,
Exactly. So why aren't teams using 2 Krigs? It
They
doesn't make
are.
they
It-
have been this weekend.
this
weekend they
past
are.
week. This past week, we have really seen. I mean, really, the only team that I can think of that heavily uses the QBZ is LAG, because Silly really likes it.
Yeah,
But
and that
other than
helps. And he exploded on FaZe, but that's later in the week. We can talk about that in a minute. But for the Optic and Seattle series, they started out on Raid, and they give up 50 seconds on that first hill to Seattle. Like, I know you're trying to hold spawns for Kitchen
They
and
also
everything.
they didn't get the spawns.
Yeah, and they got broken.
crushed.
Yeah.
They got crushed the first 2 hills, and then they had a really good garage rotation. Dashy picks up a 3-piece, I believe, on rotation in garage, and from then, I mean, it was a really close game. It came down to the last couple hills. We went to P4 on basketball and P5 in the middle, and on P4, Optic got a very opportune split spawn. They all spawned up top first. They get slayed out, and then they get a split spawn and a built-in push. Like, a built-in pinch, and they broke it, and then they were able to come back and win it on.
Yeah. I mean, they're a good team, and they get lucky spawns like that where they just get dropped for basketball spawns. But the fact that it was that close to Seattle, I know they needed their first win after a tough weekend and everything like that. It's like, oh, we need a good momentum shift, and it's great that they got it. But then they finish off the raid and they go into Checkmate S&D, which is a fucking mess anyway.
Yeah, but they did bring it back. They brought it back on the checkmate. They were getting a lot of flack early in the season for being a weaker search team. Of course, just because they lost those two searches early in one of their earlier series, like their second series, and then everybody kind of piled on them.
They lost like 4 searches in a row. Like it's ridiculous how often they lose searches. And now I'm glad they're trying to figure it out. But playing checkmate S&D, maybe I mean they did play S&D pretty well against Dallas later in the series. They played checkmate again, game 5 in that series, but we'll get to that.
Yes, but 3-0. I thought it was, even though it was a 3-0, I thought it was a strong showing for Surge. And it was Optic's return to form. Dashy with the Krieg. He was playing a very slow role, not a lot of engagements. I think he had like maybe a total of 60 engagements over both respawns, but still, it was better than him dropping a 0.6 and just feeding streaks like he did against Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of thing that makes me like question about roles. Like, yes, there's, a main AR and a second AR and 2 subs, but it's everybody's job to make sure that you're getting spawns for next hill. It's a group effort to, push to make sure that you're getting, objective caps on control and everybody stacks the hill and all that jazz to make sure that you're, actually winning the game instead of just slaying out.
Yeah, I think
So
this game especially, since this game and Modern Warfare, I think anchors are a little bit more important in this game than they were in Modern Warfare. Like the classic anchor role that you saw kind of come about in Black Ops 2. But in Modern Warfare and in this game, you see the ARs with a lot more hill time than they have classically in COD and Hardpoints.
I was having a little bit of internet issues, but we're good now. Are you still on the Optic Surge series?
Yeah, I think we're just finishing up and we're ready to push on to Friday, unless you have any closing thoughts on it.
Yeah, I just think Optic, when they're pissed off and want to win, they're a scary team.
that's very Stephen A. Smith of you. You know what
Listen,
I mean?
man. Listen, we don't care.
No.
But nah, I think they're probably the second or third most talented team. I don't think that's really arguable. And they went 0-2 in a week, got 0-6, 6-0, however you want to say it. And yeah, they bounced back pretty well.
Maybe they're just really bad at adjusting to a new meta.
That could be too. I mean,
it's
certain
absolutely
players could be. I think Dashy's a big. When he's dropping a 0.6, it's hard for them to win a map because he's usually the one with the putting up the most numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Well, I think Octane said it best. Dashy with a do-it-all gun is a top 3 talent. I absolutely agree with that.
I mean, yeah, before they went 0-2, I would say he's a top 3 player. Now maybe not, but yeah. Anyways, Friday, we're moving on.
Yeah, so Friday we start with Toronto and Royal Ravens. You have Toronto with a 3-0.
Dude,
And of
Cammy
course,
went off. Was that
Cammy was massive. He had almost 1.7.
Dude, the man is a freak. And was that before or after the sensitivity training?
That was right after. The sensitivity training, which I think we're gonna touch on a little bit later. But yeah, that was. I think this is the day after. I think that happened on Thursday, and then on Friday he comes out and just fries.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at this, I mean, Royal Ravens had lost this one in vetoes. They got their worst maps right up front. I was talking to Petter, who is the social media manager for London Royal Ravens, and he was lamenting the fact that they played checkmate hardpoint first map. So since they've made their roster switch and brought Paul X onto the roster, they have played checkmate 3 times as their first hardpoint map, and they've lost it every single time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're 0-3 on checkmate with Paul X?
Yeah, which is really surprising because he does fry, but I mean, like, and of course, one of those is to the Subliners, who are probably the second best checkmate hardpoint team behind Optic. But yeah, their vetoes were very, very strange for this series, I thought.
Yeah, that's weird to play. I mean, maybe they thought that Toronto wasn't a good checkmate team to begin with, because I think Toronto played. No, they didn't play New York yet, and New York like hammered them in the checkmate hardpoint later on, and New York was like -20 in kills, and they still won the hardpoint. But either way,
Yeah.
Toronto. I guess London thought that Toronto was a bad checkmate team, so they played a minute, and then they played the Raid S&D, which London has been good at, but they just can't get it over the edge. Do you remember the game with Haggy, and he got like 7 kills in a row for London, and they still couldn't
Yeah.
pull out the win?
Yeah. Listen, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but London's probably on paper the worst talent-wise squad in the league. I would argue. You got Dylan. You got Dylan, who at points in Black Ops 4 was a top 3 player, but other than him, like, are those players really like? You compare him to even like Paris. You got Aqua, that's a top 3 main IR in this game, arguably. You got Scraps, who's been frying. You gotta. I mean, these are players that were the last to be picked up, and London's got guys who, they haven't shown. I mean, Shawnee's been consistent, but like not consistently great, just consistently average, I would say.
Do you think it's a problem with, being so adamant about picking up European talent?
I don't think so. I just think if you have Zero on that team, I think Zero's probably the best European player of all time, arguably. I mean, him and IW, he was a top 5 player.
Jerd,
Tommy, back in
I
back in
mean,
the day.
maybe, but anyway, I just think it's hard for that team to. If you want to keep a core of British players. I mean, even Toronto has better British players than London does.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I was going to bring up. That Toronto is a completely European team, and
Yeah. I mean,
they
their
get
best
three-
player is Danish, but still, he's not British.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but European. They're all European.
Well, I think Clean. I know. But I think.
I get it.
I think Kleenex is their best talent they have, but
I mean, Toronto has
all the players on that team, other than maybe Bance, have shown. Even Bance at like the opening weekend or whatever, they've all had glimpses of frying.
Yeah, but Bance right now, Bance is not good right now. He started 0-7 in the Garrison Control, which, by the way, London captured A on Garrison Control twice. First, so good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they're starting to capture
It just
A
seems,
first on Garrison Control.
but if you get A and still lose the offenses, it's just bad. I mean, it's deemed the harder point to capture. Of course, there's the new patch, which you're not playing on yet, where you get a little bit more room on that point. But it's if you're getting the A point first and you still can't capture B, there's
That
an
is a
issue.
problem. Yeah, but it's not just
yeah.
hey, now you absolutely have to capture B first. Like that's how it used to be, and especially on maps like Checkmate, where you absolutely have to capture the A point first because you're really not going to be able to get any progress on B because the defense spawns literally looking at the B site. So you're not going to be able to get any progress on B first on Checkmate control, but on Garrison you can. This is the idea. You can, send 4 to B right away off spawn. And it's like, hey, if it doesn't work out, when you die and off spawn, you can maybe go for an A push, or if you get 4 down and you're on offense, instead of pushing up and trying to get spawn kills, actually get onto one of the points. Like this has been a problem for so long that people just aren't getting onto points in control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I think Garrison's hard because you can literally get put in the blender when you're on offense. Like you get spawn trapped and you can't leave.
If you don't
on
get
that
those
map.
initial kills, yeah, you're just in trouble. But I mean, to Zach's point, to Zemos' point, when you get when you get slayed out on that initial push on B, you're most likely going to spawn like trash just outside of trash, and then you can, if the other team doesn't have green control, or you can get green control back, A becomes a very viable option.
Yeah, because when they
Yeah.
splay out, instead of standing in green, they're either gonna push out like under floating tank, or maybe they'll go into trash. So
But
on defense.
But yeah, but your first couple deaths are probably going to spawn up before they have the opportunity to push. I mean, you just have to play your life a little bit. If you're one of those guys that doesn't die first, just distract them a little bit and leave that trash spawn open for your team.
Yeah, if you get wiped on garrison control and you're on offense, it's pretty much game over for that round. Like you just had to chalk it.
Yeah,
It's always been really bad on that map. And it doesn't help that Bance started 0-7 on that garrison control.
that's just
Yeah.
really
They won
rough.
the map, but my god. That's so bad.
Listen,
Yeah.
bro, that's the price you got to pay if you want a full European roster. You got to have one bum.
Oh yeah, except that's Toronto. They don't need a full European roster. They just couldn't get anyone else, I think, to come up to Toronto.
Look,
Well,
it's
you
all
got
fun
some
and
Canadians.
games.
It's
Canadian
true. You have
teams.
Canadians. Yeah, but they're not getting dashy. I mean, who else is really who's a big name Canadian?
Karma.
Isn't
Oh,
Asim
yeah,
Canadian?
he is. That's
Yes.
another one. But Tommy was heavily, Zuma was heavily
Oh,
recruiting Asim, and he is a big reason that Asim got his starting lineup a spot when he retired, was because he lobbied the team. Basically said, "Look, get this guy in here. I can see the potential," and of course he's right.
yeah. Asim has been really good this year.
But of course we
know,
can get
Probably
into it.
been the best player on the roster.
Yeah, we can get
Maybe
into the
Clay.
couple items a little
Maybe
bit.
Clay, but the variance of sub players is a lot bigger than AR players in this league.
Yeah, I
Like
agree. And
the
that's something-
bad sub players are a lot worse than the best sub players compared to the best they are and the worst they are.
Yeah, I agree.
It
With
could
that.
just be
yeah.
the gun because you play slower and you don't have to focus as much on movement.
You don't get exposed as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Dylan in the phase series, I think they played Garrison Hardpoint and he finished the series triple negative, like 10-32.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh my god.
phases on another level that day, though. I mean, that was just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, they were coming
I
off
think
a
he
loss.
finished like 12-34, but it was like he was like 10-32, like you said at one point. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
okay. But just sticking to Friday, I think we can move on from Toronto, London. I think we pretty much unpacked that, and of course now we have
the
phase
big one.
LAG, the big
Oh
one.
my god. How about Silly? My god. How about it? He
yeah.
finished like double positive in the raid hardpoint. He got streaks in the Moscow S&D, and he just cleaned up in the control.
It was Miami SD. I
Yeah.
think was the second map.
Oh yes, yeah, my MES&D, my bad.
But yeah, it for me just coming into this. I think I'm not a big proponent of this LAG roster. But they are probably the roster that is best built to beat FaZe in a 5-game series. They're the second best search team. They might even be the best search team, after that showing. But they're the quintessential 2-3-5 team that they are bad in respawns in general, but their searches are really good.
Yep. FaZe just looked off. Maps
They
2 through
did.
5.
Yeah, maps 4 and 5 especially. I mean, in Apocalypse, they dropped I think they scored 3 out of the last 150 points on the map. I mean, and then they just completely lost it and get 6-0'd on Express. They just looked a little bit lost. They weren't prepared just to be punched in the mouth like that by Gorillas. But I mean, when they come in, I mean, they're still up 2-1, and then Of course, they do lose. I would like to point out they lose Apocalypse and Express, the last two maps, the two newest maps to be added to the map pool. So just ones they don't have as many reps on.
Yeah, but at the same time, everybody else got the same exact number of reps as, everybody else. So it's like it's not like they didn't know that it was going to be into the series. And if they did know, they probably should have either banned it or, gotten lucky with a coin flip.
No, I agree,
Yeah.
but Apocalypse, the way I would best saw it stated, and I can't remember where I saw it, but basically said it's the Hackney Yard of Cold War, where if you start with P2 spawns, those temple spawns, it's just
Yeah.
so hard to break, and it's just
If
a
you
built-in
pick the
P2.
map, that's why nobody's picking it, because if you pick the map, you get bad side.
Yep. And I mean, and there are just better options across the board in the pool.
And also, I don't. That map's one of the maps that the hills are harder to break, if not the hardest. I would say
Yeah,
that or raid probably.
the P3,
but
the yard in front of Temple on P3 is surprisingly hard to break. Like,
yeah, I think like
Oh yeah, the
3 of the top
Turtle
5.
Hill.
Although there's not as many reps. I think it's only been played like a few times, but the top 3 like hold percentages, or the top 5, 3 of them are on Apocalypse
Yeah,
for percentage hold.
and it could be just teams haven't figured out exactly how they want to make their pinches and make their breaks. But yeah, it is definitely a hold heavy. It's a rotation heavy hill, or yeah, just they're all rotation heavy, and especially
Which
that P2.
yeah, and we saw it
like
twice in that game.
Yeah.
FaZe has bad side, and they want to try to contest the hill, contest P1, or try to at least get some points off it, and 2, pushing through the yard to get into Temple and try to break the spawns that way. And they just couldn't do either. You either got to focus trying to get, rack up, 40, 50 seconds on that P1 in the wide open, or you need to actually send 4 and try to break into Temple, because Temple bad spawns are horrible. You spawn on the other side of the map. It's really bad.
And then you have to contend with the tree hop up and that window from P2 that's just a gross heady. It's very, very hard to break. And it was surprising to me that FaZe looks so uncoordinated in their pushes, because generally they do have, in my opinion, the best comms and the best just team chemistry. Which, I mean, evidence they hadn't lost a series to this point. But if I am every other team in the league, this is the last thing I want to see is FaZe losing to a bottom feeder like Los Angeles Guerrillas, because now they're angry. You have to deal with them, coming into the Major 2, where it's already, I mean, a daunting task. I mean, but they'd lost 2 searches up to this point, and they lose 2 against Guerrillas. It's for the rest of the league.
What would be more concerning, going up against FaZe, who's like, oh, well, we're the best, we've never lost, we've got the highest confidence in the world, or do you want to go against FaZe, who's like actually pissed off because they lost to a bottom feeder team, and they're going up, and now you have to cook them while they're angry,
Yeah,
and now they're
especially
thinking about it in the back of their head.
Especially after that checkmate control against Thieves, where they were just, I mean, by the end it was just BM, which is, it's fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but the fact that they could have captured that A point on checkmate control at any point, and they just decide, hey, we're just gonna slay these kids out. The last kill is an execution, just complete disrespect, and so I think you could kind of even, looking back on it, it's like overconfidence almost, and kind of manifested itself in the series.
Absolutely. They were up like 25 to like 11 in lives in that last round of control, and that's when they decided they were going to fuck around. Like, that's unbelievable talent. It's going to be really tough to beat a good FaZe team. I don't want to say that loss is going to make them better, but now they're actually like taking scrims even more seriously than they did before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, you kind of saw a mini version of it when they played Paris earlier in the season, where they went down 0-2, I think.
Yeah, but they clutched up map 5 on that one, and
Yeah,
they were able to
yeah.
Yep.
regain. But this one they just were not able to regain. They just looked completely off in that last map. They're just pushing silly things and giving up.
Also, I mean, they had first seed in the bag, clutched already. I think wasn't this their last game? Wasn't
They
this their last
they could have.
match?
No, they played London on Sunday. So if they had lost to London, then they would have
Okay.
dropped to 3-2, and they would have been second seed behind the Subliners who were 4-1. But they had tiebreakers over Subliner because they beat them in the first map.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
Either
It's
way,
a weird one.
they're still just a ridiculously good team, and I'd hate to say that, getting footage or catching them in 4K of them losing to LA Gorillas, who we've thought is not a great team.
epitome of a friendship team. Epitome of a friendship team.
Yeah. Silly and Assault have been teaming together for 6 years, and they only have one championship together. Although it was champs.
But it was like 5 years ago too.
Yes, and it was also 5 years ago.
Vivid, I think Vivid's a good player.
Vivid is an excellent player, but then you have Apathy, who is legitimately the worst KD in the league out of anybody.
Really?
Are you sure? I thought Slacked had that title.
No, not anymore. Slacked had a good week, and Apathy did not have a good week.
Slacked is only good in control, I swear. Like, the only time I see him pop off is in control.
Yeah, Slacked has had a couple bonehead plays in respawns. There was one on Moscow where he was at the A site and he was just defusing the bomb and he had plenty of time. And I think they were playing FaZe and Cell was like way on the other side of the map and he like threw a nade and he heard him, so he dropped the bomb and now he doesn't have enough time to hop back on the defuse.
Yeah.
That was a bad play by Slack.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
especially when it's knowing it's Slacked and he's been around for so long, he needs to know better than that. It can't be something that happens
Yeah.
from your veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, you want to move on? We kind of took a lot of time on that. On the one day.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then we can move on to
Florida,
Saturday.
Paris.
Yeah, Paris 3-1 over Florida. I mean, these are just it's a coin flip series in my opinion.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about this series. Nothing interesting happened
This
that
was
day.
the series that Awakening played like dog, right?
He's had a couple of those, but yes.
I think this was the main one, though. I mean, if he's not putting up almost MVP caliber numbers, this team does not win a series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Slack,
I also
dirty work.
I mean, Slack is awful, and Neptune is okay,
Oh
but
my
probably
God, Cage.
listen, man. Listen, they're not good. Sky's literally like you get Sky's one game,
Yeah.
you know, he has a 1.3. Next game he has a 0.6.
This guy's had a
don't know
good
what
series
you're
against Dallas, even though they got 3-0'd.
I mean, yeah, but
They got 3-0'd.
This
Yeah.
is another team that looks good. They look good against top teams, and then they just lose against mediocre teams.
Yeah, and I think, but also the one thing that came to me when watching this series is P5 on Checkmate. It becomes more and more apparent to me that it seems like a poison pill. Unless you can string together P4 and P5, it's not worth trying to break P5 just because you lose spawns for you're going to lose playing control for P1 and you're
Yep.
going to lose spawns for P2. So if you can't string P4 and P5 together, and then for the new rotation, when it comes back to P1 and P2, you're going to lose those two. So you have to be able to string together P4 and P5. If not, you should just give up on P5, set up playing control, and maybe try to get a little bit of contest in.
Yeah, is it even worth
Yeah.
to, like, with 20 seconds left, let's say, you get a full wipe with 20 seconds left and you have hill control on P5. Do you try to, like, push out to docks and try to push out to, like, Finn side and try to get spawns for P2? Or
You just
maybe
get
try to
playing
get hill control? Yeah, okay.
You just go playing control at that point. Because if you over push it, you're gonna spawn them P2 and you just lose spawns. You're gonna get contested probably 20-30 seconds on P1 just because P1 is so contest heavy and there are all the corners. It's impossible to clear out.
Yeah.
So it's just not P5 is not worth it unless you can get P4 chain, which Optic does really well, which is why you see them do so well on this map.
Yeah, they're able
Yeah.
to maintain hill control on that P4 in that alley while also maintaining spawns behind in the nest. That is fantastic, and that's why they're so good at that map.
Yeah, they're just. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just if you're coming up against Optic, it should be an auto ban, and that's my worries for the subliners if they do end up playing Optic, that they're going to pride pick checkmate or just let it through, and that's not something that should be allowed to happen. I mean, Optic's just better than you. They're the top two checkmate hardpoint teams, but it's not a close one too.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
worth, the coin flip of also maybe picking Apocalypse if you're gonna ban checkmate?
Subliners have not been. They've not played. Oh, they played Apocalypse their first map against FaZe, right? Their first match of the split against FaZe. But
Oh, right.
other than that, they pretty much just banned it out. They haven't wanted to play it. They haven't wanted anything to do with it. But I think if you can ban out checkmate and let FaZe pick Apocalypse into you, and you get good side, I think it's fine.
Let
Yeah.
FaZe pick it?
Yeah, or not FaZe, Optic.
Yeah. Optic has banned Garrison, like both the Garrison respawns, I
They're
think
auto.
both times.
They're
this
all
season.
auto.
Yeah.
They're the auto bans for them. They
Yep.
just
I
auto
think
ban Garrison.
Garrison is like checkmate, but almost like
For
even
hardpoint?
more flippy. Yeah, for both respawns. It's
Well,
even more flippy.
They kind of fixed the P2 spawns a bit. So like if you don't have hill control and you don't have the top, you do spawn like under floating, like looking at green sometimes. Like if they
Yeah.
don't have green control.
Wait, probably
Yeah, but still, I don't know.
I think I got us
bo-
off on a tangent here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're good.
Anyway,
We can come back
I-
and touch on that. Yeah.
I do
We can
think
go back.
Paris is not a bad team. I think Fire is the only player that's looked below average. I think Classic has been good. I think Scraps has been good, and I think Aqua has been
Top three.
a top 3 or at least top 5 AR in the league. And
Yeah.
I think the only game mode that you like, they're under average in S&D, I would say, and everything else they're above average. So it's just one of those things that S&D is usually the most important game mode for average teams because a lot
you
of
play it twice.
yeah, and a lot of series can go game 5 pretty easily.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking
Anyway.
at their stats right now. They're 9-9 in hardpoint, 5-9 in search, and 5-6 in control.
Yeah.
So I mean, just overall like hardpoint average. I mean, epitome of average 9-9, and then losing in both the other modes.
yeah, control 5-6. That's I would still say that's average, but
And they were also stuck in a tough group. They had to play Rocker off. Did they play Rocker before or after the roster change? I believe they played them before the roster change, and they still lost.
Yeah,
to them.
Oh
no, they won. They beat them.
They 3-0'd them. Yeah,
Yeah.
because right before they made the roster change, Rocker went 0-6 for the first week, and then since then, I don't believe they've lost.
Yeah, they've been rolling since. And
they beat Optic and they beat Empire. Optic, of course, the Stashy dropping a 0.6, and then they beat Surge. So they're 3-0 since then, with a 9-4 map count.
Man, Rocker looked really good with Standy now. I mean,
Uh,
there's talent in challengers. There is talent in challengers.
I have some thoughts about their overall roster, but we can get into that later. For now, I mean, next series, yeah, we do have Rocker Surge. 3-2 Rocker. Surge looked phenomenal. I thought they Gunless. Gunless has had a really good week. I mean, they go 6. They went 2-6 in maps, but Gunless had an excellent week. Bristini had an excellent week. Really, just it's a good time to turn things on if they're Surge. They have a couple of what you hope for them will be tune-up matches. They either have the winner of Florida Gorillas, and then if they win that, they have Toronto. Or actually, sorry, it's not Toronto. It's the loser of Toronto Optic.
Yeah, but
we can say Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad saying it, but that Optic team, now that they actually look like you know,
They figured some stuff out. Yeah.
yeah, they know how to play the game post meta change.
So yeah, but so hopefully, so for Surge, I think they're looking up. They had a couple of tough matches this week. I mean, you have Optic and then you have Rocker who are hot.
Yep.
But they played well.
What's their winnings, even if they lose their first match? Is it still higher than their winnings last year?
No,
I
you
think
need to win one. Yeah. So it's top 8 get paid out. So they need to win one match,
Okay, they need.
Okay.
which is
Gotcha.
winner of LAG and Florida. So if they win that one, they're in the money.
I think they're better than both of those teams.
I agree.
Uh,
I agree.
yes. Okay. I
L-
think they'll beat
match-
Florida for sure, and I think LAG will push harder.
But yeah,
Honestly,
can come
I
back to that
think
one.
LAG the phase is kind of a fluke, but anyway.
Yeah, we can come back to
Minnesota,
that.
Yeah.
And so Minnesota
Minnesota
looks
looking nice.
Yes.
I do have
I
concerns
mean-
about this Minnesota roster. Not the roster itself, but the fact that they're so bad in hardpoint. I think they're 4-12, and against the good teams, eventually that's going to come back and bite you if you're always giving up that map one to better teams. So I am concerned about that. I'd like to see them improve their hardpoint, but other than that, they look really good right now.
They did win 2 of the hard points last week.
They were 2 and 3, but in map ones, they just have not been good.
No.
But
Yep.
they lost both against Dallas. They managed to 3-2. They managed to 3-2 that. They went 2-3-5, but lost both hard points. And I mean, it's just not sustainable
Yep.
against top teams.
Do you think it has something to do with maybe a role change now that Stanley's running around with the sub everywhere?
I don't think so. I just don't think they quite put it together yet. I really just I'm not sure, but they before this week, them and FaZe were the 2 teams that had not lost when they won a map 1 hardpoint, and so that map 1 hardpoint is so critical for them. FaZe, of course, they did lose to LAG and they had won the map 1 hardpoint.
Yep.
But I mean, when Rocker wins map 1, they win series. They're the only team left that and it's just because they're so bad in hardpoint that when they can win that map 1, it bodes really well for the rest of their series.
Do you think they're like a
Yeah.
momentum team? Do you think that they need to see, the check mark in the W column to start really going, and when
No,
they lose their
think they're
first
just-
map, they fall apart?
No, I think they're just bad at hardpoint.
I think they're just
They-
a slow team. So when your life matters more, they're better. I think it's really just that. simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of them being bad at hardpoint because they still win series dropping the hard points, but it's just not a sustainable method for winning series against top teams. If you have to deal with the subliners, FaZe, who are both very good search teams, if you're giving them a hard point, and then and then you're 50-50 on the search, if you lose those, you're down 0-2, and then you have to play another hard point map 4. If
Yeah.
you make it
Yeah.
that far.
Yeah, exactly. I
So
mean,
that's my main concern with this Rocker roster.
I think they've looked a little bit better post roster move. I mean, obviously they
Yeah.
started out 6-0 last week, but this week was okay. Even though they went Game 5 to Seattle, I think that's more a statement about Seattle than Minnesota.
Seattle's playing very well. Yeah.
I mean, Gunless has been fucking huge, man.
Yeah, Gunless and Persini, both of them. I mean, and they're both such finicky players, but when they get hot, they are really hot.
Oh my god. What
But
did they
then-
call that duo? The
Octane-
PP duo?
Oh
PP.
God,
The PP duo.
yeah, Preston and Pierce.
Yeah, the PP duo. They're
Anyway,
good.
I mean, Octane. Listen, he's not the best AR this year, but he's definitely arguably
He's
Top
not,
five.
but I mean, bad Octane is still above
A
Top
average.
five.
formidable player.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think
like-
the only mains that I can think that would definitely be above him are Clay and Aqua, maybe Formal.
I don't know, like how
Oh,
we're
and
counting
Arcides.
Arcides. Yeah,
Arcides,
exactly.
Arceus, yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's still an above average AR, and when you have Preston and Pierce playing in the way they are, the PP duo, as It has been
Yeah.
tough.
I think they
It's
tweeted
just the
They're
it.
tough
thing,
out.
man.
They're a tough out. They're a tough out.
It's
Yeah.
just a thing, like, you know, Prestini is one of those players that he can either win you a series or lose you a series, and sometimes that's not great for the league. Sometimes that's what the team needs, but
The highs are very high and the lows are very low when it comes to Preston and Pierce. So
yeah.
take our most-
In my opinion, Looney has played better than I expected him to. I expected him to be.
He also had a
like,
good
so-
week. He had a
Yeah,
good
I
week.
thought he was
Yeah.
stealing a league spot at the beginning of the year, but I'm
Yeah,
glad he
I
started to
thought
actually
he
step
w-
it up.
I thought he was like in a same boat as like a Slack almost this year.
Yeah,
But
he's,
No, I
he's
thought
been
he was
good.
worse than Slack this
He-
year.
I'd
But he's
agree
been
with that.
good. I'm very
has been
glad
good.
that he's, stepping up as a sub.
It's good to see
Yeah.
some of the veterans still being able to hang. You know, there have been some disappointing veterans
And
this
I
year.
think that team just drops close series. Like all their losses are close, really.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like
They can
almost
put-
all of them.
This one they lose 3-2 to Rocker, who are a strong search team. So I mean, and it was I think it was another 2-3-5. If I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Actually, no, I think they
s-
split the hard points. They split the hard points.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and Surge isn't bad at search either, so I think they're a team that could surprise a top team. Definitely.
I know, but they've been so bad in control. They're 2-9 in control, but they started 0-7. So since then 2-2. So they've been picking up their control for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think control.
They had that
Maybe
huge
they-
control versus Paris last week with on Garrison. That was sick. That was so good to watch.
Yeah,
They really popped off. That was, their mental
like
breaking.
that was their first control win, I believe. It was against Paris and they
Oh.
won against Minnesota.
Yep.
Hmm.
That'll do it. I saw good vibes on Twitter all day that day by
Yeah.
Seattle.
But I mean, if you look at their overall KDs in control, Looney 0.76, Prestini 0.82, and then you have like Gunless at 1.01 and 0.98. So I mean, just Looney really rough to be 0.76 in control where
Yeah.
your life
Yeah.
matters so much.
It's
That
hard
is
to
really
be
tough.
that. He's likely that guy that's solo capping the easy quote unquote easy point, and you
Yeah,
just
but
die
if
for
that's
free
not
sometimes.
happening, you have to give them support. If it's not working, you got to figure it out. You got to figure something else out. You can't just keep sending them by himself.
And they're
Yeah.
they're a fast team. They're relatively a fast team, so lives are going to matter so much more than time in a control round.
Yeah,
So
and I
if
also
they
said-
start burning
Octane.
that shit, it's going to be tough.
yeah, I did say earlier that Silly was the only one I can remember using the QBC, but Gunless has been using the QBC very well, very effectively. So, him and Silly both had really good weeks with the QBZ, and I think they're really the only two that are running it. Everyone else seems to be running a 2 AR, 2 Krig.
Yeah, I think this
On
is going to be the
Garrison-
last series that we see the QBZ see any use. I think next major is going to be all two Krigs, 2 AKs.
I think at Garrison you can just run 3 74Us. Honestly.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
in league play and stuff.
Krig
but-
is hard to do on Garrison. I mean, there are some power positions, but just so many ways that subs can slip through and get a favorable gunfight up close.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. There's like that one hill. I think it's P5, the one that's right in front of the tank in the big
Yep,
open
P5.
doorway.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the only hill I can think of where an AR is probably a better gun, and that's it. On that hill, all the other ones are.
Even then, there's so many
Close.
headies, especially if you get those back tank spawns, those oil spawns. The AKs can gun you coming up through spawn, and they can lock down bricks a little bit better than a Krig. So
Yeah. True,
it's very situational map where I feel like where your ARs are just going to struggle in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like a science where it's like, oh, I died, 4 times in a row with the Krig. I got to pull out the AK. It's like, well, it's very much a flow-driven map.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys want to move on to the last series of the day, which was the Subliners Ultra?
Yep.
3-1 Subliners. I didn't really have too much to say about this. Other than
Map
the fact
4.
Well, I wanted to talk about map 2 first because it was checkmate the search,
Yes.
and as we have spoken about pretty heavily to this point, checkmate. So defense favored, but subliners win 3 offenses. 3 of their 6 round wins were on offense.
That's so good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I think Toronto's just a bad SND team.
I mean, the strats were solid. They weren't just like pushing through plane every time. They were varying their strats. But yeah, it's definitely a mix of both. But I
Yeah.
thought the liners played it really well.
And on round 1 of checkmate,
Yeah.
nobody goes in the plane because nobody's got trophies. So everybody either goes under and tries to figure it out. So like round 1, if you have offense on round 1, that is a great thing if you don't have trophies or anything like that. If you go
Yeah.
under plane and you're watching like pallets and you have somebody else who's watching, maybe they're watching tube under the plane with a Krig or maybe even a 74U because it's still a fucking laser. I mean,
Yeah.
round 1 is a perfect opportunity for offense. Just
Yeah, I
go
think New York
trophies.
is a team that they're consistent, so they're gonna beat teams that are worse than them.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think they've lost at least in a while to at least this
This stage,
series
yeah.
2 or whatever. Yeah, stage 2. They only lost to FaZe, right?
Yeah, they only
So-
lost to FaZe.
and they reverse swept the Thieves.
They were first up Thieves.
That was
And I mean, that
before
was-
Venom.
And that was also that was when LA Thieves 3-0'd them the first match of the year. So that was a nice little
Was that the opening weekend? No, they played
Okay,
Dallas
it was-
opening weekend.
No, it was opening weekend. It was their first match. They've only played Dallas. Let's see. They played them Super Week on March 14th.
Yep.
And then they played them again in the losers bracket finals. So they are 0-2 against Dallas so far this year. But they get
They
them in the
played
first round.
Dallas. Zemos is talking about the show match.
Yes.
played-
Oh, you're right.
The preseason. The preseason.
Sorry,
they played
yeah.
Dallas in the preseason.
But
You're right. I
Diamond
think I
Con literally
smoked.
had 2 days of. Diamond Con only had like 2 days of practice with them. So.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's right after. Yeah, that's right after Hydra can't get his visa. They elevate Diamond Con to the starting roster. Yeah, and then they just got smoked, and it was terrible. It was bad. But Clay basically said, it was a glorified scrim. We played with this roster for 2 days. and I mean, and it showed since then. I mean, their losses. They lost to LA Thieves the first match.
Yep.
And I mean, since then, LA Thieves has taken a nosedive, and they've beaten them. But other than that, they've lost to Dallas twice, Chicago once, and Atlanta once. They've beaten Chicago.
Good for New York, man. Yeah, they beat Chicago in the major.
Yeah, they beat them for top 3. They played them for top 3, top 4.
Yep.
And they had previously been 3. They got 3-0'd in the first match of the majors, and then they came back
I
and
just got
beat.
disconnected.
He
My bad.
disconnected.
He disconnected. He can't use us time.
Thanks for
Anyway,
watching,
yeah,
guys. Yes.
I think New York's beating. They're not losing to teams that are worse than them. Like,
I agree.
And the
Yeah.
only teams that I consider on their level or better is Optic, Dallas, and then FaZe above them, obviously.
Yeah, and we'll see where Rocker stacks up this weekend with this new roster. Like I said, I have some concerns, but I think like that Rocker New York might be like the cusp, like the 3-4 teams, or the 4-5 teams even.
I don't know. I think I put New York above Dallas right now.
I'm just noticing that
I-
Rocker finished their pool 3-2, and they finished 9-10 in map count. So they went negative in maps, and they still placed first in their pool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was just really because they lost to 2 bad teams that just got beat up on, and then they beat all the good teams.
Yep.
And I mean Seattle, who's probably the middle of that group. So
Yeah. Seattle's probably better than being a bottom team. Like I'd
I
say.
mean, they're still probably 8th or so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, in this league, that like I'd say 6 through 9 are probably even, and then the bottom 3 are even.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we can kind of just fly through the last day, or at least the first two series of last day. You've got Atlanta 3-0 over London.
Yep.
They
Paul
go
X stinks.
they go back to Express map 2. Like I said, they lost that map 6-0 against the Gorillas. So it was either a pride move or they're just trying to get real time game reps on the map and actually see what works and what doesn't, which I think is probably what they were doing. But 3-0 London. I actually had this one 3-1 phase. And then as soon as they lost to LAG, I went back and switched it to a 3-0 because I kind of figured they're going to come out hot. So I think that one was pretty cut and dry. Not too much to go off of that one. And then you have
I think
Gorillas.
the next one is too.
Yeah, Gorillas over Thieves.
LA
3-0.
Thieves, they're just bad.
They're
Yeah.
just bad. They're just bad.
There's a
Especially
reason
that
why
one.
they're dropping everybody.
Yeah, they lose Kenny too, and then they have to sub in Temp. So then you have Temp and Venom on the same roster, which is just a recipe for disaster.
Yep. Just
Neither
not
of
good
them,
enough.
neither of them good. But then you have El Clasico for the last series.
Classic COD. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and Envy Optic, Dallas, Chicago.
Yep.
And it was a series, man. That was a crazy series, back and forth.
Oh, it was a crazy, great, fantastic
Augers
series,
the
only to
king.
fucking end on Checkmate S&D. Horrible map.
Augers
I'm
the
so mad it ended
king.
on Checkmate S&D.
But
Bro,
it comes down to 1v1, and Scum gets the redemption. I mean,
He
That's true.
killed
That's very true.
Shotzi. Scump had 10 HP, bro, and he
And he
killed
chowed it.
Shotzi full health. Shotzi was mind blown.
Yeah.
Nameless after that play, mind blown.
I'm mind blown. Great series, fantastic series. Bad
I mean,
that
the
it ended
control-
on Check and S&D.
the
And also
control, of
control.
course, comes down to Checkmate. I mean, like literally a 1v1 on the point.
And
a little bit
Illy clutches.
I was a little bit concerned about Scum's decision making there. I mean, it takes 15 seconds to cap a point solo, and you just have Illy and Scum, and instead of trying to take any route other than exactly what was in front of Scum, Scum just chows bottom lane. He could have gone
just
around the
took too
back of
long.
either side. Yeah, he took too long sitting there doing
Yep.
nothing. He could have, because he knows Illy is on the point because he's capping it. You can see the progress going, so he can push back to his spawn. He can push to Dallas's spawn and attack from the plane either way. But he instead decides, let me just run straight under plane at him.
Yeah.
And
And at the end, he doesn't need to chell that. He can, if he gets off the point, he knows he's coming from his right, but he just chells it for some
yeah,
reason.
I mean,
Yep.
I think he wasted so much time that he was forced into a chow. He just played his time really poorly.
I mean, he had a contest where he was, like, where the barrel is, the barrel
Yeah,
spot.
the little,
In
yeah.
between the barrel and the little crates there.
yeah, there are a
He
couple,
was
there are a
there,
couple
so
contest
so
spots right
he could pre-aim the spot that's to the left where he ended up chelling out.
Yeah.
And then if Illy never got off the point, he would know he was coming from that side. But if he
Yeah.
got off the point, he would know he would come from the right.
Thought very poor overall 1v1 from Scump there. Just all the decisions he made seemed to be the wrong one. But then he took the gunfight and
But
And he got
was
lasered
trying
by the
it.
Craig.
that was it was a bit I think on land that gunfight might have gone a little bit differently. To be honest, it was
Yeah.
It
That Craig
was down
did
to the last
laser the
bullet.
shit out of him.
it was down to the last bullet.
Yep.
Yeah, he died in 2 bullets.
And
Not literally, but
But yeah,
he-
that was fucking bad.
it was insane. But then he comes out and fries Shotzi from 10 HP
Yeah.
in map 5. I mean, really
Yep.
great series all around, back and forth. Really, really fun to watch. And I mean, it's the kind of series that you want to see out of Envy Optic.
Is
I
that
mean,
the best
yeah.
series we've got since online COD started?
That is the best series that I can think of in recent memory. I mean, it's really fun to watch. Especially as a neutral where you're not pulling for either team. Well, I guess I was probably pulling a little bit more for Optic than
No, yeah, I think
Yeah, I
Toronto
didn't pull
versus
anybody.
FaZe in MW.
Toronto versus
FaZe at the
FaZe.
Toronto home series where
Oh, when
Yes,
Toronto won it,
yes, the
yeah.
Methods 1v2. Fantastic series.
Yeah,
but
especially
MW
like
was a trash game, so
because Methods has to get that monkey on his back from Champs at
From-
Black Ops 4 when he had
Oh,
that monkey.
UIU? Yeah. Oh, my god.
goodness. So yeah, I mean, in Methods, just he was really good in search this year, and I guess he was pretty decent last year, but before he got dropped for Insight.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know why he got dropped for Insight. There were many problems with that Toronto team, and he was not one of them.
Yeah, so I think we can kind of transition now out of
All
last
right,
week
we
into
have
that.
some.
We can keep talking about Insight. We can talk about the rookies.
Yep.
We have some Damon Karma Barlow slander on the timeline, boys.
Oh no, who said what?
Is this
From Sam Lathru?
Oh no.
Sam has been all over today. When we first started when we first started recording, he was on the timeline. He was flaming LRR for torching, basically saying they didn't show up for their.
Yeah, and Clayster replied to him saying, "Why can't people come to scrims?" And Sam
He
replied,
said, "Hold up, weren't y'all last?" Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
so for everybody who can't see, Sam Octane on Seattle says, "How is it the professional Call of Duty players cannot sit in their chairs for 2 scrims? Literally your job just to sit there and play the fucking game." And this was, of course, aimed at today they were supposed to scrim London, who is an hour late. And then Clayster replies, "Hold up, weren't you guys one of the worst last year?" Which Seattle was. And then Sam comes back over the top with yes, and then he retired and we were never late again. So of course a hit job on Karma, who retired mid-season last year.
Look, he's a father, he's a husband, he's he's a Warzone streamer. He's got plenty of things to do.
He didn't love the game anymore. I mean, can you? I mean,
Yeah.
it is his fault. You're getting paid money to show up, but
Yeah, man.
you know.
Modern Warfare is a game only a mother could love.
Listen, man, this is the GOAT we're talking about.
Only a CCOT could love.
Only a CCOT. My God, what a horrible game. And it doesn't help that it was 5v5, and it doesn't help that they had 20 hertz servers when they were practicing in 60 hertz.
12 hertz. 12
oh,
hertz.
12. I'm sorry.
Not even 20. They didn't even make it to 20.
Oh my God. And they played on 60. Their matches were on 60, and they played on 12.
Eventually they played on 60. They started the year on 12, and they eventually.
Oh my God! It gets worse even as we're talking about.
It was bad. It was bad.
It gets worse, man.
Just chalk the entire year.
Oh my God!
It's online Modern Warfare. The whole thing is just a mess.
Piccadilly Search.
Not
oh
to
my
take it
God!
Away from Empire. I definitely think Empire was the best team last year.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not trying to put an asterisk on it, but I mean, just the whole year was just rough. I mean,
yeah, there's definitely an asterisk. You know,
I don't think there's an asterisk. I think they're the best team. I think
Damon Karma Barlow is the only player with 3 real rings, so he's the real joke here. So.
Damon Karma Barlow, Optic Karma once again, of course.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Listen,
that's
man,
right.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
Sure, Crim6 has 1 more. Sure, Clayster has just as many rings, but come on.
Come on, it's the Damon. No.
Crim has just as many rings too, for the record. Also,
that's right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and he has more earnings and more chips, I think.
He does. Yeah. I mean, that Optic Dynasty was just insane. I mean, that's
longevity.
So, yeah, so I guess
we don't need to get into a GOAT talk right now.
No, that's.
All right, we can all agree those are the top 3, though.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, sure. Top 3.
It's hard to compare newer players because I honestly I already think Simp is probably the best player.
This argument is going to this is just that's bait.
Yeah,
that's bait.
this is all bait, and it's all right.
It's all bait. Okay, but the rookies just
the rookies are bad.
All right, so it's Insight, Fire, Diamond Con, Standy, and Neptune. Those are the 5, right?
Paul X and Venom.
Paul X and Venom, of course.
So you got 7 rookies right there, and I mean,
and I'd say 3 of them are doing really well: Diamond Con, Insight, and Standy.
Insight, I don't even think you can say was doing really well because he had that the first search when he comes in, he drops 18.
The breakout week.
which
course.
probably that's probably not going to be broken this year. I'd find it very, very hard for anybody to get 19 kills in a search this year.
Yep.
But I also think Paul X is having a really good start. I know when New York played them, Clay praised him a lot. Everybody on the team was saying that how good he was, and he did drop like on that express search. I know they basically said, yeah, we're down 5-1, but we just need to kill Paul X because we're getting 1v4'd every round, and they shut him down. But yeah, so I think Paul X with that Krieg has also been really good. But then you have, I mean, Venom and Fire. I mean, Neptune middling, but then Venom and Fire just bad.
Yep.
I don't
Venom
think
has not started
Neptune's
out, but
that
I don't
bad.
think it's entirely his fault. Just because LA Thieves has kind of been a
Yeah,
mess this year.
But he's also been the worst player. But I do feel bad. I think that that Fire and Venom both kind of put in bad situations, and it's unfortunate because I think Fire at the very least has kind of salvaged. He started well, and I mean he has had some big plays, but Venom has just been as a
Yeah.
whole terrible.
Do you think it?
I don't think Paris is a bad spot. I mean, I think Paris is an average team. I don't know how that's a bad situation.
Look, they went 2-3 in their pool. They beat Florida, and who else did they beat? Seattle.
In the harder pool. to
But
be
yeah,
fair.
I was saying that Paris is a bad spot to land just because it was the last roster to get finalized, and they were all kind of thrown together. There wasn't a whole lot of chemistry coming in. These aren't guys that were all like, oh yeah, we should all team together. They were like the bottom of the barrel, kind
Have
of,
any of them
except
even
for Aqua.
teamed?
Yeah,
I
I mean
think
Aqua.
Classic and Scraps have been good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ilias, of
Ugh.
course.
Would you
Ilias.
guys like a hot take?
What's
Lay it
the
on
hot
me?
take?
Lay it on me.
I think Aqua has ridden that Team Revenge COD Champs run a little too far.
He's not the worst AR in the. He's the top 3 AR in the league. What do you want about?
I don't know about that.
Arcedes, Clay. Who else do you put above him?
Yeah.
I think Arcedes and Clay
Mm-hmm.
are the top 2 right now, and Skies maybe Skies above him.
No,
Skies
no.
has been good, and everybody else on that team has been horrible.
Yeah,
No,
I agree
what?
with that. I agree with
Awakening.
that.
No, Awakening has.
Awakening is super hot and cold. Some days he looks like the MVP, and other days
So is
other
Skies,
teams
though.
an absolute bot. Skies is
So
more
is Skies,
consistent.
though. Nah, I don't know.
Skies has been carrying my draft buffs. I'm not even gonna put up stats.
Nah, he was worth less than a sub was 1 week. That's how bad he was.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah,
no.
he was worth like 35.
Skies actually hasn't been great looking at his stats. Awakening and Neptune have
He's
both been
bad.
better. Awakening is the best player on that team by far, looking at stats. I mean,
Awakening could be a top 3 player in the league.
I think
honestly.
that guy's cheating. No, I'm joking. That's bait.
Awakening, Jesus Christ.
Jesus
I think
Christ, I think he's cheating.
Top 5 at least. I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
so
if you
maybe not
ask me-
Skies. I think it's just the name recognition there.
Yeah. He was
But
good
yeah, I
last
mean,
year. They won
Octane-
what, 4 last year?
3.
They won back. They were the first to win back to back.
They won 3.
Octane is the only one I think you can argue.
Octane, I mean, Octane's been having an off year. Again, for Octane having an off year is not the same as him being bad. He's just not
Yeah.
Octane.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody. I mean, 3 of them have been subbed out.
Yeah,
Like, 2 of them
Octane.
have been subbed out.
Octane with a 1.09 in hardpoint, 1.23 in search, and a 0.98 in control.
Yeah.
This is
and again, this is a control team that's 2-9. So
yeah. This is probably Octane's worst game since Black Ops 3. I don't even know how much he played in Black Ops 3. He was on Aware, right? In AW.
I didn't really watch.
Was he on Rise?
Yeah, he was on Rise for World War II. I don't know where he was for Black Ops 3,
No,
but this is probably his worst game since then, and he's still really good.
Yeah, he's still really.
Oh no,
solid.
IW was after Black Ops 3, right?
Yes.
Or is it the other way around?
AW, Black Ops 3, IW are the jetpacks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I still
Yeah.
think, even though this is probably his worst game in a while, he's still really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's probably top 4, if not top 3. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put him up there with Aqua. All right. So moving on, next topic. Do you guys want to do Cammy first, or do you want to do LAT first?
Let's do the Thieves first.
All right, Thieves. Thieves yesterday announcing at the end of the stage, after they've played all 5 matches, going into the stage 2 playoffs, they announced that they have dropped Slasher for Draza.
I think
They came last
Go-
in their pool. Yeah, they came
Mhm.
last in their pool. But they had already made a change at the start, which was a Venom for Temp, and now you have Slasher or Draza in for Slasher. All right, go ahead.
First, I think that yes, it was the right move, but I think it is so bad and looks so horrible that they're doing it before a major after they've worked so fucking hard this patch and this stage together. I think it's a terrible look that they're doing it 4 days before the major. I just think it's terrible. What do you guys think?
I'm mind blown.
Yes, mind blown.
No, I mean, that team is just the core 3. They were bad in MW for most of the year. They were good at the beginning of this game, and then they were bad again. I mean, what do you?
Do you think it's like
when
a
when is
motivation?
enough?
That's true.
Like, it's not a talent issue. It's just a meshing issue, obviously. So you gotta get. I think they should have gotten rid of one of them before the season started and picked somebody else up.
But they were good. Well, not good, but they were decent at the beginning of the year, and they just haven't,
I don't know.
improved with everybody else. Usually that's how.
Also, yeah, the whole thing with the buyout, and they couldn't really try to get a 4th or whatever. So also they couldn't get traded because, or released, type thing. Because they all the shit going on behind the scenes or whatever. But
Mhm.
I think it's just the team was not good in MW, and it's going back to 4v4 and all that. But why do you keep the same 3 that did nothing in MW? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Do you think it's Mud Dog's fault? Do you think it's
I
because
think it's mostly because they couldn't. The Hunter T thing didn't get finalized until late into the off season. Is the main
yeah.
reason.
So
But
that team was kind of handcuffed together before they could make a roster change because they were stuck with Immortals.
yeah, I think even if I don't know if they would have made it, even if it would have happened, because they probably thought, we're a good team. Fuck it, it was just that game, but maybe it wasn't. Well, it obviously wasn't, because I don't know how a team with Slasher, Kenny, and TJ gets destroyed months for a month period, basically.
Yeah, they've been nothing short of a mess. Imagine you're Mud Dog, right? Imagine, about a year ago is when they dropped Dashy, right? Or, they benched Dashy. So imagine being the guy to bench Dashy, who's been heralded as one of the best players, best pure talents in the game. So you bench him for Draza. Wait, was it Draza or Hollow? I'm not sure which, but
Both.
Draza comes to the roster, and then you
Well, didn't
still
they both
perform
get
mediocrity.
didn't him and Chino get dropped at the same time?
They both got elevated at the same time. Yeah, so it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it dropped for 2. So I've been muted this whole time. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I've been highly critical of this roster. I mean, since it was put together, I think you guys know that I've said they were overrated. People were putting them top 4, top 3, and my biggest problem with this roster is you have 3 big names in TJ. Well, I guess at the start you had 4 big names, but you have TJ, Slasher, Kenny, 3 big names who have not had a lot of success recently. you look back at last year, just like Gage was saying, and they're consistently placing like T9 with this roster. Then what do? They make a switch. They drop Dashi and Chino, and they bring in. And they had someone else before Chino. Chino was only there for a little bit. I can't remember who it was right now. But then they bring in Draza and Hollow, and all of a sudden they're placing top 4, top 6.
It was
So-
JCap.
They
It was
dropped
JCap.
JCap. Yeah.
JCap. JCap.
Oh my god!
that was-
And then he retired because MW was so bad.
yeah.
And he was so bad.
Yes, but also because MW was really bad.
So
Has
the
Aches
roster,
even? This is off topic, but has Aches been playing in challengers?
Yes, and he's been placing like top 64.
top 16, top 16, top 64. Yeah, I think his best placing
Listen.
is top 16.
I mean, all these young guns.
Yeah, I would have preferred to see this LA Thieves roster with Draza in it off the start, over Temp. I would have liked to have seen them keep Draza. He and Hollow were the reason that they were seeing so much success in Modern Warfare. I mean, that's really hard to argue just because they started off so poorly, and when they came in, that's when they started improving. So I was kind of surprised by the fact that they still had Draza signed but didn't want to bring him to the roster. And I mean, I understand why you bring Venom in. Venom absolutely fried in challengers, and he just has not been able to make that transition. But then you also have a very proven talent in Draza who showed he can hang in the CDL. So it was surprising to me, and I do think that Draza deserves to be in the league, but this roster is absolutely a mess. They're going to have Kenny on main AR, and they're going to have Draza at flex. So I just don't see it.
Yeah, that's definitely like a recipe for disaster. And I think it's even dumber. Like, imagine being the guy to say to Draza, "Hey, we're not going to put you on the roster. Instead, we're going to put Temp on the starting roster." And then 6 months later, you're going back up to Draza and saying, "Hey, we're sorry. We need you back on the starting roster." Like, can you imagine how dumb you look to ask him to join the main roster again?
Not only that, then you have to think. Oh yeah, but now you're not replacing Temp, who is an SMG like you. We're replacing Slasher, so you're gonna have to be a flex. You're gonna have to be an off
No,
road. I mean, it's
Draza's been a flex, but
Okay, so maybe it's
he
just
was just
I'm thinking
recently
of
using
Modern
the
Warfare.
SMG.
Probably because Modern Warfare was so
No,
MP5.
he used the M4. He used the M4 in some match.
Yeah, probably later in the season when the meta changed. I don't know.
I mean, he only really played later in the season mostly.
So
but, yeah.
or him and Hollow coming in and being an SMG duo. I mean, but yeah, I would have liked to see him on the roster earlier. I would have preferred him over Temp. I mean, Temp, big name guy who's been in the league a long time and has won one event, and it was online last year.
Yes,
I
New
don't-
York.
I don't think Temp is that bad.
I don't think he's that bad, but I don't. But he's not a guy who's gonna. He's just not.
He's better than some of the subs that are in the league. That's for sure.
Temp?
LA, yeah.
I don't know.
I would- I
He's
would- I would rather
also
have-
worse than a lot of people in challengers.
I would rather have
Yeah,
him
but
Civ.
I mean,
Like, if I'm being honest, like I know Civ is signed to FaZe. I mean, he's essentially just like never
Yep.
going to see unless you know,
I'm sure somebody's gonna buy him out eventually. But
where there's a health issue. But yeah, he's never gonna see time on FaZe.
Yeah.
yeah, just need a BZ to pop too many Skittles, I guess.
Now we're getting into some accusations here.
Oh,
I'm
here we
mind
go.
blown.
Here we go.
Boy,
Yeah,
the-
what's up?
I said, "Oh boy, you're good."
Yeah, I think if you're gonna pick up someone from challengers, it's either gonna be Nato or Decimate, honestly. Like those
yeah,
are the two big names to me in
Listen,
challengers.
bro, Nato's not getting picked up because he's been in a pro before.
I agree. I think that if they're gonna take a shot, they're gonna go with somebody a little bit younger. I mean, Des has been in the league too. I guess if we can roll into some challengers talk now. Final Four, of course, coming in and winning the stage 2 grand finals for challengers.
Good for them.
Yeah, I mean they've been a consistent top 2 team recently. But
And then they got rid of who did they get rid of and then get
they
Methods on
they
that
lost
team?
they lost Standy.
Oh yes.
they
And then
lose
they put
Standy
Methods on the
to
team.
Minnesota, and of course, yeah, Standy had an insane split, gets called up for Minnesota, and continues his ways. But just in challengers in general, you had the top four for stage 2 was Fantastic Four in first, Easter in second, Built by Gamers BBG in third, and then NYSLA in fourth. If I'm being honest, Desi could definitely get called up, but I think you know Zemos how big I am on Pro Loot. I would really like to see the change that I would like to see is apathy for Pro Loot on LAG. I don't know if it will happen, but I think that immediately makes them not necessarily a contender, but an above average team. If you can replace apathy, who is either the worst or the second worst KD in the league, depending on if Slack has been worse. But you can replace him with ProLoot, who is he bolsters their search game, very strong search player, and then he can be your route man in your respawns, and he does it very well. He's not going to have super flashy numbers all the time, but he is going to win the important gunfights and get to the right places. So I would really like to see him on LAG. Desi, I think, also could be a very viable option.
Yeah,
Wasn't Decimate on their academy last year?
Decimate was
I
on
wanna say he was in Florida.
MYSL. No.
think
No, LAG.
Yes, he was on LAG
Yeah, okay,
last
you're
year.
right. Oh yeah, but this Fantastic Four roster that they fielded was Dave, Patty, Decimate, Draza. So they're losing Draza and Sip.
Yep. So they got rid of Draza and they're picking up Methods. All right.
Yeah. So
Zinni Winnie.
So, yeah,
Zinni
I mean,
is
Listen.
a Winnie.
Methods
That's
is
gonna
going to
be-
be on LA Thieves after this major.
I wouldn't be
Methods.
surprised. Drop Venom for Methods. I mean, I think
I
that'd be
don't.
They'll
Unless
be fucking
Flasher-
slow as turrets on that team, but it's all right.
Bro, Zinni is not that slow, man.
He's pretty
It's
slow.
not World War II. It's not World War II.
No, he's pretty slow. I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
man.
you got accuracy and assault in this game, bro.
That's true.
In the league.
That's
Come on.
very true. Hey, accuracy, now that Major Maniac's not taking his slow kills, accuracy has found his way with Rocker.
Yeah, and I think last year he was a linchpin with New York. When he played well, the team did well. They placed well. But when he did poorly, they didn't place well. And I mean, and it's really hard to have your linchpin be a guy like accuracy who can be really hot or cold.
Yeah.
But the rest of that roster is really solid right now. I think. Priesta getting back into the flex role was really beneficial for him.
Yeah.
And then you have Standy, of course, you getting Standy in there, and Attach, who's a perennial
Guy
slightly
who,
above average
yeah.
player. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he does what he needs to do. He gets what he needs to get done.
So
Whenever
do
people
we
talk
think
about-
that,
go ahead.
do we think that Slash is going to be in the league again this year? Or
Yes, I do think Slasher will see more play this year.
on LA Thieves, or will he get loaned out or traded?
I
out.
don't know.
We need to see a little bit more information from what Kenny. So when the news originally hit, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense that Slasher said, "Hey, I don't want to play this anymore." But the way that Kenny phrased everything sounded like Slasher got dropped.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
So so Kenny basically said, he said the team wasn't gelling. He used a lot of those buzzwords, vibes and all that really mean nothing. And basically he made it sound like Slasher didn't want to play anymore, but also that he got dropped. He didn't say anything, but the tweet itself from LA Thieves said that we're giving Slasher a break. So I think we're just gonna need to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. I don't
Look,
know.
it's not like one guy that makes this decision. It's usually like a team decision,
He
and
did
they
say
all
it's a
like talk about it.
decision,
Yeah,
and I mean-
exactly.
but
I
it
mean,
really, it's a bad look
It's
for just
hard.
JCap and Enable right now. Their first year as upper org members, and just
Yeah.
a chaotic roster.
another Oak Boy gets dropped.
Whoa. We're not, we're not going conspiracy theories about like this is getting back at something, from 5 years ago.
No, I'm just saying all the Oak
Yeah,
boys are gone now.
He was one of the Oak boys, Slasher. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all gone now. Wasn't
Yeah.
it JCap, Enable, Slasher, and what was the last one?
JCap,
I
Enable,
can't remember.
Slasher. It was another AR because they had like a bunch of ARs
Yeah,
as
they had
Oak Boys. I don't know. Well, either way, I think Slasher will see play later this year, even if it is like stage 5. But I think a team's going to be desperate enough to try to get him on the team.
It might even be Thieves. I mean, I just don't see this roster working out. I mean, I just don't. I don't.
Oh,
I just
my
don't know
bad.
if it's gonna work.
It's Cap, Facento, Enable, and Mud Dog.
Facento,
They
Facento.
live together.
boy, Facento and Mud Dog.
Oh
Those
my
are
god.
just two.
That's just because they live together in Oakland. Or
Yeah, you can. I would call them like, I don't know, dry
All
cleaners
the-
because they're all washed.
Hey. Facento was E United's coach, brother. E United's coach when they went on that crazy run at the end of Black Ops 4.
That's a ring. That's a ring.
That's a
It
ring.
doesn't
It
matter, it's a
counts.
ring.
It counts.
Oh
That's
boy.
a real ring, unlike a MW.
Oh
Yeah.
man, which one counts more? A LAN coaching ring or an MW player ring?
MW player ring. It's not even close.
Yeah, I'm
Nah, bro.
trolling. I'm trolling, of course.
Yeah, but
Coaches-
Gage is about to come in and say something stupid though. Go ahead, Gage.
No, I'm not. This game it changes so much every year. A coach does not bring that much to the table that players don't already know, other than maybe facilitating the conversation.
I
They're
would
more
I would
there-
agree with that recently, but I think like back when Complexity was just absolutely dominant at the end of Black Ops 2 and started Ghost, I think Mr. X was a huge part of that. Their coach. I think but I think as we have gotten later into it and teams, there's just so much more information out there and so much is standard for you to do as a team. I think the coaching means less and less. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
listen, there's-
coaching mattered more when they were allowed to calm in game, like back
Nah,
in
that's
Also
Black Ops
true.
2. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, what was that guy's name? He was like blonde hair. He always wore a suit. You know what
Yes.
I'm talking about?
The guy with the big head.
Yeah. The dude with the
I
spaghetti
know exactly.
hair.
I'm literally picturing it, but I cannot for the life of me think of his name. I know exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
he was like one of those really animated coaches. He's always screaming.
yeah,
Look, if
all
you
he
have
did
another
was
cheerleader
crash
to help
talk.
you out with vibes, that works.
Oh, vibes. Here we go. Back again with buzzwords. Vibes.
Dude,
vibes,
if you
vibes.
lead the league in vibes, you will place well.
Oh, good God. I hate the vibes thing. That's just a personal thing. I think it's a cop out for.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Is that why Optic when 06 won Golden League?
Opticus, what?
Scum.
06 last week.
Oh, yeah.
No,
They
I think that was just a.
A new
I-
meta, new me. Everybody was
Yeah.
like, new meta, new me. I'm gonna show these Optic chumps
Alright.
how to do it.
I'm gonna say something.
Is it
Might
Dash?
be a hot take.
Let's lay it.
Envoy is overrated.
Envoy.
He's the route man, but he's overrated in my opinion.
He is a really, really fast sub.
He might be the worst player in Optic. Let's just put it that way. this year.
Mm.
Whoa. Formal has had an off year. He's
I don't
gained
know,
50
man.
pounds and he's playing like it.
Formal hasn't had a good year since like. I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it. Formal has not been a top tier AR for a while. I mean, last year the only reason that he was main AR on that Chicago team was because RC was better than him with the sub. I mean, RC was better than him with the AR too, but RC was just better all around. It's
Yep.
the only reason that he got that spot as their main AR. I mean, honestly, if RC's was on main AR and they had a different flex, they're a better team.
That LG win, where was it? CWL London? Were they
Oh, my
in Black Ops 4?
I mean, Black Ops 4. I remember they everybody was like, "Oh, Formal is going to carry LG to like a top 4 placing," and then they didn't they like go out in groups.
No,
They
they
didn't-
won the event. LG won an event.
No, I'm talking about the champs.
Oh, yeah, they got hammered by I think SNG.
Yes, it was Singularity, and it was that was Kleenex, wasn't it? Would they lose to Kleenex?
Oh man, he's foremost boogeyman.
Listen,
Yeah.
bro.
Singularity team that had the run of their life
Yep.
that tournament. Just played
What a
really well.
Envoy
great
is
run.
overrated.
Yes, we'll
This-
get to that. But yeah, okay. yeah,
Overrated,
This is-
overrated,
this is-
yes. Bad, no.
This is
worst,
this is
worst on the
Scump's-
roster, no.
this is Scump's best year in a long time.
No, they beat
Long
Singularity. They lost to E6. E6 went on the run with
Singularity?
that was with Bresci and General.
This
Oh,
is probably
God.
Scump's best year since IW. Already.
I agree. I think that Scump has had a good year. I think he's. I thought he had a pretty decent year last year. He got a lot of flack.
He still-
unnecessarily.
He still makes the same mistakes though. He doesn't fucking get on points.
Yep.
Although in their series against Dallas, they did really well in the control with stacking points. They did seem to fix that. So we'll see if that holds or that was a one.
No, they didn't. They lost the round 4 in the control because they didn't stack it.
But they won.
They
the
won
offense
round 1 because they stacked.
with
that one.
stacks. Yeah. So they,
Yeah.
there's definitely some stacking that happened there
Yeah.
at some point.
At some
I
point, they
remember-
did stack the
I
hill,
remember
and I was
seeing it.
okay with
No,
it.
I remember
the
seeing it
round
and thinking,
the
wow,
round that
they stacked it.
I forget what round it was. It was one of the offenses though, where Formal just pushes out the right side of the plane and just dies, and then somebody else is in the plane and dies. I think it was Scump.
They had 2
and-
down on offense. Ugh.
And no, they got 3 down, and nobody they didn't force stack it, and they would have won if they force stacked it. They would have
Oh
won
my
the
God.
round.
Actually,
They
I
would have
think
won the round
it
if they 3 stacked it. Actually, not even 4.
Yeah,
crazy.
okay.
Look, they're a good team, obviously. I mean, they just beat Dallas, right?
They're just better. They're just better at shooting a gun straight. That's it.
Yeah, and that's saying something, when you're going up against Illy,
What do
Shotzi, and Hook.
When you have to shoot the gun straight, this
Yeah,
whole-
when that's 80% of the game, that's a lot.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I get it. Them and FaZe are definitely the 2 best pure gunny teams.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. You guys want to do some predictions and then close it out?
For sure.
Okay. So
Who's winning it all?
yeah. So let's go around. Well, let's do top 3s for everyone. So do
Okay.
you want to start, Zemos?
Yeah, let me pull up the bracket because I think that's actually it's not going to be that important. I think FaZe is going to take it. I think they're just going to go all the way. First of all, it's unfair that they only have to play 3 series and then fucking win it all. And I think that's
And
so
also-
dumb.
They get 4 searches in the grand final. It's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, you only have to play 3 series and you get searched 4 times in the grand finals. So fucking dumb. Oh my
yeah.
God.
And so that basically leaves 5 respawns.
yeah.
And they're also not only are they the best search team in the game, they are the best hardpoint team in the game. So
Yep.
very, very difficult. So
So dumb.
do you have anybody other than FaZe winning it?
Anybody other than FaZe? Okay, so Rocker has to beat the winner of New York and Dallas, and they're not gonna beat either of those teams. I'm sorry. As much as I
The
like
only-
Standy, no.
The only team I think that even has a chance is Optic.
All right. Give me your top
But
your top 3s, Zach, and then we'll go to Gage.
Yeah, FaZe, New York, Optic.
In that order?
Wait, is that possible? Is one of them gonna have to get knocked out? Let me see. Oh, it doesn't say which one is which. For
No,
the losers
it's
bracket.
possible. It's possible.
Okay. Okay, then yeah, it's FaZe, New York, Optic in that order.
Okay. Gage?
I'm gonna go with. I don't know if I want to be controversial with this one or not. Okay, I'm going Surge wins it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Wow.
I'm saying Optic in second place, New York in third place. FaZe gets stunned early.
By Surge. Wait. Who do they
They
get
get
stunned by?
Whoever they lose to, I don't know. They get stunned early.
You think they lose twice? You think
Yeah.
that FaZe loses two?
They lose and then they get Surge and they're just too
Okay,
shook
okay,
by Octane's big
my real
massive cock.
predictions. My real predictions are FaZe 1, Optic 2, New York 3.
No Dallas love. No Dallas love from either of you guys. All right.
I just think they're worse than New York right now.
They're not
Yeah.
good at search. They're just so bad at search.
No, I agree. I have FaZe,
And
New York,
I think
then Dallas in third. I have Dallas in third.
Okay.
I agree that Empire is just really, really bad in the searches, and that's going to hurt them. I also think Minnesota, as good a run they've had, as I said before, I think their hard point is an issue. Optic, for some reason I have them losing to Empire 3-2, which seems interesting.
It's going to be a repeat probably, so
Yeah, but I think Subliners finally get over that hump this series with Dallas. They have Dallas in the first round. They're 0-2 against them this season. I think they've lost a 3-2, which is when they got reverse swept, and they got 3-0'd in the loser bracket final last event.
Yep.
But I think that they figured out this time and they beat Empire. I have them beating Empire twice, 3-2 both times. In winners round 1 and then in the loser bracket final.
Okay.
And then losing 5-2 to FaZe in the final.
I'm gonna have Optic winning winners finals, but then losing the grand.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so you think they wait, so you think they beat FaZe in the
In a
first round?
BO5, yes.
In winners round 2, because they would, if they win, so if they beat Toronto, so when they beat Toronto, they play Atlanta. So you think they beat Atlanta there, and then they have either Empire, Subliners, or Rocker, and you think they win that one? Okay, I think that's fair. I think they could do that. It's doable.
I think the best of 9 is just impossible to win against FaZe right now at this moment.
I agree. I agree.
They're too good at search.
They are just too good at search. I mean,
like even if a team can get one search off them, they're still the best or second best or third best respawn team.
They're the best hardpoint team, and I think the second best control team behind Optic. Yeah, so if Optic can win one of each, if they can win the control, which I think is likely, they can win a search and a hardpoint. I think they're okay to beat.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think if you have Optic on a checkmate search, unless FaZe
checkmate
ban
hardpoint,
which they could be.
Really,
if FaZe ban checkmate search, it's kind of hard for Optic to win one against them.
Yep.
Yeah,
in a BO5,
I agree.
but-
I think FaZe just needs to ban out checkmate entirely, and they're in pretty good shape.
they'll have a chance.
Has Optic played Express? I don't think they have.
That's a good question.
No, I don't think they have.
I could tell you in 1 second. It's pulling up right now. Shout out to Breaking Point, GG. They have played one Express and they lost it.
Okay.
Yeah. Who was it? Does it tell you who it was against?
I'm gonna do some digging.
Nah, it's
No, I can.
Well, either way, I'm looking at like the losers bracket, and if you're in losers, you have to win
Was it
at
against
least
Paris?
6 series in a
Yes.
row. It's a
It
fucking
was
joke.
against Paris. It was against
Yeah.
Paris.
You're right.
yeah.
So-
When they 3-0'd them.
They 3-1 to Paris. So they beat them on Apocalypse and Checkmate Hardpoint. They lost the Express Search and they won the Raid Control.
Oh, okay.
So who do you guys think is going to have the best run? That's not one of those top teams. Like, who do you think is gonna have the best loser bracket run?
Surge.
That's starting in the loser bracket.
Yes.
Surge. Yeah.
Surge.
I also.
Wait,
I also
who are the other teams?
LAG.
Surge. Oh,
Yeah.
Go
Are you? Yeah. LAG,
Yeah, I think
Florida,
Surge.
Paris, Thieves, Royal Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surge is probably the
go
best out of all of them.
yeah.
Easily.
I think Surge also has the best bracket because if they beat winner of LAG Florida, they get the loser of Optic Toronto. Whereas Ravens, if they win their first match against Paris or LA Thieves, they run into the loser of Dallas Subliners, which is so it's just a rough bracket for London.
Yeah, they're gonna have a
Yeah.
tough time with that shit.
And
I
then
could see Dallas
if they win that one, they
Dallas
get the
losing
loser
to
of
Surge.
they get the loser of Optic FaZe Toronto. So they have
Yeah.
a very, very difficult bracket. I don't think they could have gotten a harder bracket.
Yeah, they're not. No, they're not. They're having a tough time. But I think Surge is probably gonna make a run, like maybe to top 6.
I have them top 6. I think they win 2 series, and then I have them losing to Minnesota.
Okay.
Let me see how the pick'ems work out.
I also have I have Dallas over Optic, so I have Minnesota and Optic as top 6. Wait, no, I'm sorry. No, I have Seattle and Optic as top 6, and then Rocker 5th. Wait, no, it's at 4. Yeah, so Rocker's 4th, Empire 3rd. I really think Rocker is going to be exposed this weekend for their poor hard point. Dallas is could always have one of their guys go off and win a Surge, so I think they're
Hmm.
a little bit better equipped.
Yeah, I don't think Rocker's gonna be able to take a hard point off New York or Dallas.
I agree.
And even
I
if they do play him, they play the winner of FaZe, Optic, or Ultra next. Which, no. I'm sorry, Rocker.
Can Optic in New York play in the winter finals?
Yes.
Yeah.
If New York beats Dallas and then Minnesota, and Optic beats Toronto, then FaZe, and that could be the winners final.
And then what if can FaZe play Surge in like the match before the losers finals?
Yes. If Surge wins out and they lose in the winners final, they would. Oh wait, no. No, yeah. So they would have. So Surge would wait. Where would FaZe drop? FaZe would drop or Linus or that? No. So otherwise they would. Okay, so if they lose, and they would have to. Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, I could see Surge beating Dallas or Minnesota to
Yeah.
get there. I
Yeah,
think
I mean they
it'll
did
be,
play Minnesota really really tight.
I think it'll be all right, how about I want to be different and say that Optic will beat FaZe in the winners bracket, but let's be realistic. I think if Optic drop down, I could see Optic and Surge playing in the round before the losers finals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Optic beating them, so Surge in 4th. Type.
That could definitely happen. I think that is a definite possibility. I mean, if Surge keeps up their form from this week, I mean,
Surge was literally like inches away from beating both Minnesota and Dallas already.
yeah,
last
I think
Yeah.
they should be the favorites in their first 2 series unless Optic somehow loses to Toronto. But
Which
yeah,
I
I think
Yeah.
I mean, Insight
Could
has to
happen.
go off. Insight and Cammy.
Optic is not
Maybe-
like FaZe where they're not going to lose the bad team.
That's
I mean,
true.
we saw it 2 weeks ago.
Well,
But since
yeah,
since
that was,
then, I mean,
you
you
know.
had Dashy switched to Craig. I mean, in their first series this week, he played a really slow Craig, but in their second series, he actually played a faster Craig against Empire. When they beat Empire, he was playing the Craig. He looked like he seemed to find his rhythm with it, and his engagements were higher. He was getting more kills, so I think he's settling into the role pretty well right now. So I think Optic might be a tough out.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that roles don't matter. You know,
They don't.
they fucking don't anymore. Like I was saying earlier.
The only role that like actually plays the same is a main AR. That's it. Holding down lanes.
And even that's, you know, a little bit
Especially
sketch because sometimes you can
when
just
now you
pick
have
up an
2
AR.
Craigs. You have 2 Craigs now too, and most teams are going to be running Craigs outside of like Seattle and LAG are probably running 2 Craigs.
Yeah, like the only time that you're running like 3 subs is on garrison control offense, and even that's, you know, like situational.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Yeah.
think of another time where people are running 3 subs or 3 ARs. You know, the
Mhm.
2 and 2
Search,
meta is
it's
just too
tough
good.
for
What?
Yeah.
Search, you get 3 ARs on some maps.
Oh yeah, yep,
Miami especially.
yep. On top of the visitor
sometimes
center.
on
Yep.
raid. Sometimes on raid.
On
Depends on the
defense,
team, though.
definitely, but on
Depends on the
offense,
team though. Like Optic, Envoy, and Scump aren't ever gonna run a AR.
yeah, that's true. I
Whereas
mean,
like on Dallas, sometimes Hooks pulls one out. Sometimes Simp pulls one out. Not often, but sometimes.
Yeah.
we saw Toronto like Kleenex just run straight to ring like 4 rounds in a row on defense,
Mhm.
and it worked like every time. And that makes me think, oh, are people going to expect, running a sub on that map or running 3 subs on that map instead of, 2?
I don't know. Raid. I don't know. Raid is one of those maps. Like the raid where Dallas played Optic, it really exposed. Like Dallas doesn't know what the heck they're doing. Like they're playing aggressive on defense, but passive on offense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
I-
true. They're very.
I
think
like to
Raid-
make the meme take of Dallas is just a bunch of Robins because they dropped their Batman in Clayster, and I like to joke about that because
They're still
it's
a good team, but
yeah, of course they're still
Yeah.
a good team. They placed top 2 last major, and they're
Yeah.
like what? They were what, 3rd in their pool this year or this major?
Yes. Yes.
second,
Might
I
have been
think.
second. It might have been second.
No, Ultra was No, Optic was second. Optic was second.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
because they won on head to head.
Well, I'm interested to see how this bracket's gonna shake out. I really was not super happy with how my bracket ended up, my predictions, but I wasn't happy last time either, and I was 10th overall on the Call of Duty like pick'em like leaderboards for just bracket specifically. I had 32 points.
Yeah. I
So
don't do any of that pickup shit.
I was number 25. If Empire wins one more map in the grand finals, I'm sitting pretty with a new Scuff Impact controller.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they
Oh.
needed one. I needed so if they win one more map, I get 2 more points and let me 13th, 14th.
Welcome back,
For
H.
some reason, I keep disconnecting. My bad.
It's all right.
What the heck's going
I
on.
think we're just about
so-
ready to cut it.
We're gonna call that a wrap.
Yeah.
in our
Thank
first
you
one.
guys
I
very much for joining us. Oh, it's a great time. I will see you guys next week. We can
On the
figure out
Garbage
an
Time
outro.
podcast.
On the Garbage Time podcast. Thank you, Sonny. He gave us the name, he gave us the intro, and he dipped out. Great stuff by him.
He was like in the call still, but he was muted or something.
he pops in like once and says something. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. A great time, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I will see you next week, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that sounds good.
All right. See you then.
Peace.
Bye bye.